The 15th season of the Formula Drift Championship is underway, as a full field of 32 drivers have spent the offseason prepping and getting ready for the Trek West to the streets of Long Beach, the biggest event of the year. All the time and effort of the teams are ready to be paid off as the drivers are set for the first round of 2018. It's a very long season, and it starts today, only on Formula Drift Insider. As we enter the 2018 season, let's take a look back at a historic season for 2017 and notably James Dean. After a 7-year hiatus, James Dean comes back with authority, grabbing the win in Long Beach. In Orlando, it was Frederick Osbo making his presence felt. Round 3 at Road Atlanta, the birthplace of Formula Drift, saw James Dean on top of the podium once again. The next win didn't come easy. After a 3-hour round of competition, Odi Bakshi's inserts himself in the championship contention with the win in New Jersey. Heading north of the border to St. Eustache, just outside of Montreal, Canada, Frederick Osbo gets another win. Then the rest of the season belongs to the Wordhouse Drift team. James Dean gets the win in Seattle Evergreen Speedway as well as Texas Motor Speedway. Then the final round, Irwindale, the House of Drift, belongs to Peter Vincic. After 8 rounds of competition, the most points accumulated by any driver is James Dean, making him the 2017 Formula Drift champion.
So last year was pretty crazy. We saw James Dean come in and shake things up in the series. He's a world-renowned, world-known drifter, but he hasn't been in the series since 2007. 6 podiums, 4 wins, and really, I think everybody walked away from last year saying, well, what do we need to do to beat this guy? And so that's what the off-season was all about. It's figuring out what it's gonna take to fabricate their vehicles in order to compete with James Dean and the like.
James is probably one of the best chase drivers in the world. He came here last year, super aggressive, and did exactly what he needed to do. That's why he won the championship.
I've seen him grow up in Europe. I battled him the first time more than 10 years ago, and see the kind of all-around amazing driver and person he's become, because he can set up the perfect team, he can set up the perfect car. He is that all-around world caliber drift driver.
So yeah, last year was a roller coaster journey for me. It was our first full season competing in Formula Drift and competing with a 2-car team with Wordhouse Drift team and Falcon Tires supporting us. We didn't really know what to expect, as I've been competing in Europe with the years previous. So we came here, we wanted to try our best, and we felt like we had a good program together. And we came here to Long Beach, and you know, I was just not letting the pressure get to me or anything, just focusing on doing every run one step at a time, and before I knew it, we're standing on top of the podium with a win. So that in itself was a dream come true for me, and as the season progressed, we got a few more podiums, 4 wins in total, and managed to win the Formula Drift Championship. It was just unbelievable. It was very, you know, emotional in one way, because drifting has been 11 years of my life competing, and to get to this point of, you know, what I would consider the highest level in the world, to achieve that as a team was just incredible, and it's something I'll never forget. I don't think it gets better than that.
2017 turned out to be a great year for us. We debuted the new Corolla IM, and wasn't really sure on how it was going to go down, but after 2 wins in Orlando and Canada, we had a shot at the championship. Ended up losing it to James Dean, but overall it was a great year.
Last year had a lot of ups and downs. You know, I had some really good events, got a win, got on the podium, and I had some pretty tough events too. I went out at top 32, so ups and downs, but overall I finished 3rd, which is really good. It's the best I've ever finished, and I'm really proud of that. So I'd say last year was a good success for me.
Last year, Formula Drift for us, I think I'm gonna say, was mediocre. We finished 4th overall, certainly not what we wanted. I didn't make it onto the podium, I didn't win anything. So for me and my team, absolutely not the results we expected. On the other side, you know, bringing Chelsea Denofa onto the team and his development and where we ended up come that final round with him and our team as a whole was extremely successful and something I was really pumped on.
I think the drivers in the series are very supportive of each other, and they want to be able to have a friendly relationship on and off the track. But make no mistake about it, nobody was happy with James Deane coming in and upsetting the regular course of events that have taken place in Formula D for the past 14 years. So coming into the 15th season, the likes of Gittin, Osbo, Forsberg, all the championship contenders, they are going to want to beat James Deane very badly. And they've spent a lot of time R&Ding their vehicles in the off-season to make sure that that doesn't happen again. And so I think that's why you're going to see one of the most competitive seasons that we've seen in the series history.
I mean, second place overall is great, but you're still the first loser, and we're all here to try and compete and try and get that elusive championship title. So coming into this year, we're here building a new car yet again, but this time I think we're going to end up with a much better package. We have a lighter car, a lower car, a longer car, all of which is going to help us get more performance out of our package and gun for that championship title.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out, Science In, Performance Out. By Air Force, Aim High. And by the Formula Drift app. Download the FD app in the iOS or Android store now.
Long Beach, specifically the streets of Long Beach, playing host to a variety of motorsports over the years. But now, the FD offseason is over. The vehicles are going to look the best they will all year because they have 8 rounds of thrashing ahead of them.
I'm absolutely pumped to be back in Long Beach. I couldn't think of a better place to start off Formula Drift. Downtown, sun is shining, we're in the city, people's out on the balcony yelling, screaming. There'll be a sold out crowd. So for me, coming back here year after year, it never gets old.
The crowd here in Long Beach is definitely getting into it. They're screaming, shouting, clapping, stomping their feet. This is a spectacle to be a part of. And if I wasn't driving, I'd definitely be up here watching.
So the Long Beach track may not be the fastest track in FD, but I think it's probably one of the ones that you need to have respect for most. So you're between K-rails, you have no room for error. You start before turn 9 down the straight, flick in hard. You have good speed, almost 75 miles per hour on initiation. But the tricky part is you cannot see around the first corner. And it's the same thing when you get to the second corner. Because the K-rails are so high, there's sponsor banners up there, and even the people are sitting quite high. So you cannot see around your next corner. So you really have to know the track in your mind and be able to predict what's coming before you see it.
The thing that you have to be smart about here is getting the run up out of turn 1. It's very deceiving that you can enter really early, but it'll mess up your speed coming out of turn 1 and getting into that pocket to make that really nice transition to outer zone number 1 to get that run up, to run it right up against the judge's wall for outer zone 2.
I think at Long Beach you got to be super consistent. You know, you could have a rager lap and knock your taillights out on every corner, but you need repeatable laps. You know, you can't just go out and give it all without being somewhat conservative. If you could be somewhat conservative and still have consistent good laps, I think that's the key.
I think historically speaking, it's really important to kind of set the tone here. As we move to the East Coast after Long Beach, the winners here, the podium finishers here, are going to take the data that they've learned from other teams and what they've seen on track and apply it to the rest of the season. And there's no easy stops. We've got Orlando next and then Road Atlanta after that, and then we're smooth sailing the rest of the season.
For me, if we're able to achieve last year's success here again, it's going to be the ultimate start. And that's definitely what we're aiming to do, but it's gonna. I'm not a fool. I know it's gonna be a huge challenge, and yeah, let's see what happens.
With a packed house, the fans await who moves on to the top 16. First off, James Deane has a bye run due to his qualification position in number 2. James Deane advances on. Matt Coffin and Ken Gucci. Ken Gucci unfortunately gets knocked out as Coffin gets the win. Ryan Turk shows what a Formula Drift veteran can do as Austin Meeks, a Formula Drift rookie, gets knocked out. The Long Beach native Kyle Mohan unfortunately loops it, meaning Dai Yoshihara gets the win. A very poised Justin Pollock takes out the Pacific Northwest driver Cameron Moore. The next battle sees Odi Bakshis versus Dan Burkett, a great-looking Toyota Supra, until Burkett gets in the tussle with the wall. The wall always wins.
First battle out here, top 32. It's always a really tense one. Ended up taking the win after two interesting runs. Matt Van Kirk, who's been doing really well in Pro 2, coming up through the ranks, has been putting down some good runs in practice out here. He ran into me on initiation, washed out, and basically lost that one run. And then when I chased him, he washed off the track in the same turn. And there we were, passing him on the inside, finishing the run and moving on into top 16.
Two international drivers, both in BMWs, but Christos Blues from Latvia, the more dominant one, moving on. Next, Jonathan Castro with a mechanical failure allows Michael Essa the easy win.
I think the biggest thing that happened during the run was Jeff Jones had a slight correction or a slight straighten out behind me, and overall I was just closer, and I think my lead run is what won it for me. The team's pumped, I'm pumped, and we're moving on to top 16.
Joining Matt in the top 16 is Alec Honodale as he defeats Farouk Kawai. Next on deck, a Formula Drift rookie, Kazuya Taguchi versus Forrest Wang.
I led first since I qualified third yesterday, and did a pretty close to 100-point run as best as I could. On my way back, spotter informed me that he had straightened out on the final inner clip, so I'm pumped to be going on to the top 16.
The All-American battle, Dirk Stratton versus Vaughn Gittin Jr. The wall claims another victim. Another Formula Drift rookie in Kevin Lawrence, after a successful Pro 2 championship, gets taken out by the veteran Chris Forsberg.
So qualifying 11th put me up first against Federico in the Ferrari on Nitto tires, and we went into the first turn. I initiated in, picked up the throttle, and then here comes this Ferrari flying into the side of me. I don't know if he maybe was trying to catch up quickly or what, but he ended up smashing me pretty good, which put me hitting nose first into the tire wall at like 45 or 50 miles an hour. Took off the whole front end of the car, and but we got 10 minutes to fix it. We only needed about 3 or 4. Fixed the car, pulled back to the line, left the line again, and on the last final hit, we went into the first turn. His front left suspension broke off, and he ended up lighting the car on fire. I passed him on the inside. At this point, I didn't know it was on fire, but I finished the run, and my crew guy sent me some videos of it insanely on fire. Like it was like 25-foot tall flames. So bummer for him, sorry to see that. I know it took a lot for him to build that car and get it here, but you know, it happens, it's racing.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nexen Tire. Driving Tomorrow. By NOS. With Complex 6 for high performance energy and enhanced mental focus. And by Falcon Tires.
The unforgiving walls here at the streets of Long Beach have already claimed a few victims. These are the top 16 drivers, the gladiators that will do battle for the overall victory here in Long Beach. First up, Peter Vincic versus Matt Kaufman.
Made a small mistake at my first run. I went too fast on the first corner, and the outcome of it was that I touched the wall. Actually, I didn't touch the wall, I actually bounced off the wall a bit too much than I would like to. But yeah, I managed to get it one more time out of probably thanks to chasing. And yeah, I'm very happy that I managed to advance. It was hot for me in the car. The whole situation was a bit nervous, but I'm in top 8. I'm moving forward, so yeah.
On the first lap, I led an okay lead lap. I was off on one of the clips, but I made it back up on the judge's wall and then finished strong. I think Daijiro had a little bit of a mistake, so we had a tiny advantage. And then on the chase lap, I just tried to stick to his door as much as I could. From the entry on, I latched on, and that was the end of it. We finished strong and got the win.
You know, I've been doing this 15 years, but still, you know, it's just frustrating. But I know what I need to do for next round, so we're gonna be 100% stronger next event in Orlando.
The next battle is all teal and blue, JTP versus Odi Bakshis.
We both said we were just going to lay it all out there, and you know, the first run he was right on my door. I felt like I threw down a good lead run, and I'm not really sure what happened on his lead, but I think he just like threw it in too hard on entry and over rotated, so we're moving on.
My car just let loose on the first turn when I was leading, and I took myself out. You know, really bummed out, but definitely learned something from this event about the car and what it's been doing. So looking forward to next round.
Latvia versus Norway. Christos Blush versus Fredrik Osbo. These gentlemen have exchanged tire smoke as well as words.
You know, I've been struggling with making it out to the touch and go in turn 9, but it finally clicked at the very last minute that it had to click.
Yeah.
So that was really good. Lost him a little bit on the chase, but reeled him right back in through 10A and 10B, and that's the important part, right in front of the judges. And that was it. And after all the controversy last year, it felt good to just get this win and move on fair and square, no controversy.
I agree.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Sean.
The defending champion James Dean goes against the BMW of Michael Essa.
Yeah, first event of the year, and right off the bat we're being pushed to our limits. We just battled FD champion Michael Essa in top 16, and it was a seriously tough battle. In the first battles he pushed me 110%, and I pushed as hard as I could.
I was on him in the initiation, through the first corner, through the second corner, and then just coming off the judge's wall. He just slowed down a bit more, tried to stay super close to him, had to back off a touch, got a little less angle, transitioned, was on him through there, but I think that was it. My lead run tapped the wall on the outside touch and go number 2, and coming in super hot, threw an extra clutch kick in there and it just pushed me off the wall a little more. So a couple feet, but well, solid though running with him.
The debut of a new vehicle, Matt Field, goes against Alec Honadell.
My lead run was solid. I did what I needed to do, hit all my marks. I felt like it was decently fast, but at this track, you just got to hit all the marks. That's the most important part. He was definitely close to me. He's a solid driver for sure. Swap positions in the follow. I initiated as soon as I possibly could, right to his door. Stuck there up until outer zone 2. At that point, he pulled the handbrake for whatever reason, and that kind of threw me off. To be honest, I'm getting used to the car, fumbling around a little bit, foot slipping off pedals, but solid run. We made it through. It's a great outing for the car for sure. We know that there's something there, and it's only going to get better from here.
Forrest Wang is back, and Vaughn Gittin Jr. felt his presence.
So I qualified 3rd, so I led first. On my lead run, I threw it in, so I'm trying to do a 100-point run as fast as I can and make it through the course. I had a little bit of an understeer on the initiation, but it wasn't too bad. So I knew, I had to turn it up when I followed him, and basically following him in on the chase run. I just tried to stick to him as close as I could. And coming into the outer zone, I saw his car, he was picking up tires, and it started over-rotating, and I knew he was going to spin out, and I just kind of avoided contact and was awarded the win.
Next up, it poses Chris Forsberg versus Chelsea Denofa.
He really did a big angle into turn 1, and it wasn't a move he did on purpose to me, but it pinched me off, like I wasn't expecting him to run way out and way deep on that wall, which the judges are rewarding. And so I got a little bit stuck in the middle of the track, like I was saying I don't want to do in the next round. And but I was able to, get back off and back behind him on the proper line coming through turn 2, and then really just sealed it off with him doing a little half spin in the hairpin.
More Formula Drift Insider when we come back.
Formula Drift Insider on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Black Magic. Own your shine. By Gum Out, Science In, Performance Out. And by Nitto Tire, fueled by enthusiasts.
Absolutely ideal conditions for our first round of the Formula Drift Championship. The preparation begins for teams and drivers entering battle in the Grade 8. First up, Peter Vincic versus Ryan Turk. The Polish driver gets the win.
Basically, I made a bigger mistake than he did, so he moved on, and I'm just happy to be in top 8 for the first event of the year. We've been stuck in a garage for a long time this off-season, so it's nice to break out and get behind the wheel. I haven't driven since like November, so it's good to get back on the swing of things. It's going to be a fun year, and happy to walk away with a top 8 finish for now. Oh yeah, great battle, dude. Yeah. Awesome.
As Osbo's teammates nervously look on, Fredrik looks anything but. The Norwegian Hammer taking on JTP Justin Pollock, as it was a hard-fought battle, but Osbo comes out the victor.
Oh my goodness, I was sure we were going to lose it on that first chase run. I lost power steering coming into the track basically at initiation. And with these cars, when you lose power steering, they get incredibly hard to drive. So I was manhandling the car throughout the course. And luckily, it ended up being a one more time. The guys fixed it, we went back out, and we beat Justin.
We were having some good tandem battles today until my battle in top 8, where we battled Alec Honadell. And on my chase run, something broke on the rear left corner of the car, and it actually, whatever broke first, broke absolutely everything else around it. So
We had to come right in. We managed to get the win because Alec got a 0 for touching the wall and correcting, and I got a 0 for the car coming to the stop. So we managed to get the win based off our lead run and came back. The guys' team worked super hard for the last 20 minutes trying to fix everything, and we were just stuck for about a minute at the end, but that's the way it goes. Huge thanks to the team for trying their best, and yeah, bring on round 2.
The final battle of the Grade 8 to decide who moves on to the Final Four puts Forrest Wang up against Chris the Force Forsberg. These two gentlemen have shared some words and exchanged some paint in previous years. With Forrest Wang making his re-emergence into the Formula Drift Championship, Forrest gets the win.
I didn't mean to hit you, but it was like...
it's not your fault. I went in that last one, the big handbrake, and cut the car off.
Really? Oh, so it wouldn't disengage?
No, yeah. I didn't have it at all. I was just driving without the pedal.
Right on, well, good battle. Good battle.
The Final Four Gladiators are ready to do battle. First up, Frederick Osbo versus Peter Vincic. A freshman car versus a sophomore season. The hammer will drop on Peter Vincic.
I tried to be as close to him as possible. It went really well till the last corner when I was a tiny bit too close. And yeah, taking like a 3rd place, it's an amazing start. I will never believe that we're gonna start this season like this, so it's a great feeling.
After a year hiatus, Forrest Wang is back. This is the highest finish he's ever seen.
Going into the finals with Forrest, I knew he was going to exude style, pour on all that angle, so I was there trying to chase him down as well as I could. It worked out, we got it one more time, and then we really stuck it to him and ended up taking the win. Amazing day, I mean, speechless.
With now 1 round in the books, the man to beat is Frederick Osbo. Will he continue his success? Follow along with every episode of Formula Drift Insider. In association with Formula Drift, this has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.